Hello and welcome back to another WhiskAYE podcast. And I guess welcome if you've never been here before. If you are new, you're coming in a bit late because this is podcast number 46. As usual, we'll be drinking and reviewing a Dram Team box. This is the box for January 2023, the second last of the monthly boxes before they switch to every other month. And this theme for this one is a Scotch spectacular. So no flying around the world today.
Well, I suppose it depends where you live.
Well, yeah, I suppose. But if you fly somewhere once, I guess, is a thing you could do. But yeah. The rest of it should be drivable. You might not get the ferry, but we can talk about that later. So the card for this box says, with January bookended by two important Scottish celebrations, Hogmanay and Burns Night, it seemed fitting to kick the year off with a spectacular selection of 6 stonking scotches. From rum cask Campbelltowns to triple distilled Speyciders to wonderfully smoky cask strength single cask Lowlanders, there's something unusual and compelling for everyone to enjoy here. Slàinte Scotch lovers.
Yep.
So I guess we can crack on straight into a triple distilled Speycider. Well, I mean, arguably Speycider, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, depending on how attached they are to that label.
Yeah, because if you actually ask Benromac, they're so about.
Yeah, one of those was like Highland.
Yeah. Even though they're literally just down the roads from another Speyside distillery, or a couple of Speyside distilleries. So
I always say Macallan calls himself Highland. You can see the Spey from Macallan.
Yeah. So you might have guessed Benromac. Triple distilled, funnily enough.
Yeah, give that one away a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a single malt Scotch, 46% on the nose, so part of a core range, probably.
Getting into the details, are we?
I'm just saying it's bang on the nose, so it's probably filtered in that because it's part of the core range.
Yep. So, yeah, we're going to have to start saying the details from every one now.
Oh.
There'll be animations soon, everything.
Yeah, but yeah, this is part of the new core range with the new branding for Benromac. A core range which no longer holds the wood finish.
Not that you're...
R.I.P.
Yeah, not that you're salty.
No. Sad. I've only got...
It is sad.
About 60 centilitres left of my last bottle, so...
Yeah, I ain't got much of mine, making it last.
I'll be up on the Master of Malt trying to buy legacy bottles for twice the price in no time. But yeah, it says here that the Speycider Benromac produces wonderfully robust but balanced whiskies, combining rich flavours from bourbon and sherry casks with gentle wafts of peat smoke. Here, this style is transformed by the use of spirit that is triple distilled rather than the traditional double distillation. Expect a lighter style with more delicate notes, but still exhibiting their trademark subtle smoke. On the nose, vibrant tropical fruits leading to malt biscuit, rich vanilla pod, and toasted oak.
It has got a lot of fruit on that.
Oh,
like citrusy almost.
Yeah, like grapefruits. More like a fruit punch is probably better.
Yeah. Well, I got it in the back of my nose.
Yeah, it's quite because you're sitting in, you're smelling such a sweet scent, you forget that you can't just keep breathing it in your nose.
I think it's when the lighter ones sometimes that get you more, if you get what I mean. The heavier ones, the vapors, I guess, don't rise as much.
Possibly, yeah. Or the oil coats your nose.
Yeah, this one's getting to me a bit.
It's very, very tropical and citrusy, though.
Yeah, it is very much so on the nose.
I'm not even getting any of the peat really coming, although there is.
There's a very slight amount. Yeah.
Would you like to
acridity to it, maybe?
Yeah. Would you like to dip for a taste, and I can tell you what you should be getting? So we've got ripe banana flavours, which combine with poached pear, green apple flavour develops alongside sweet honey. And then in the finish, it should be medium bodied and long with citrus zest and a hint of soft smoke.
Yeah. It starts off quite vanilla-y. I like the banana comment. I think that's quite accurate. And then it does get lighter and like orchard fruits stick to.
Yeah, it's almost like a bruised banana at the start.
Oh, yeah.
You know how they're slightly sweeter.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. That's definitely. I can kind of see the banana into apple bit there, and the honey maybe because it's quite sweet, and it is a decent finish. There's not a lot of smoke to that. I don't know if I didn't know if there was smoke in it, if I'd be able to pick up on it at all. To be honest.
It's just sort of typical Benramac way, though, isn't it? It's like.
Yeah, it's lighter, I'd say, even for them, but.
Yeah, I mean that might be the triple distillation. To be fair, so not one more cycle of going through. You might look. I imagine. Yeah, imagine going through distillation once more will take even more, like, purify the spirit further from the grain that it came from.
Yeah, you'd think so. Yeah. Yeah, we've had a couple of triple distilled because obviously Auchentoshan is famous for it, and most Irish whiskey is triple distilled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can't imagine there aren't any that have been through multiple weird distillations from Loch Lomond.
Yeah. Yeah, Mortlach does 2.82 times distilled or something like that.
Yeah. 2.5 was one of the ones that what was it? Was that Lagavulin that had a 2.5?
Might have been Lagavulin. It was one of them.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Later.
Sure. I imagine so.
Yeah. Probably after.
Next one.
The problem we've got is we've got one that it kind of segues us into it.
Yeah, it's quite early. It's probably for the best. We won't. That way we can keep a cap on our rambling.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll definitely happen. Yeah. It's like colleague who thinks she's his friend, offering to help.
You cut out there.
Did I?
Yeah. Sorry.
Apologies to the listeners. I'm having some technical difficulties on my end with my microphone. You probably picked up in the last few episodes. I'm very quiet. Poor choice of microphone, basically. I will try to rectify for the next episode.
Well, you just have to go onto your the other microphone you've got that's like really loud, but you can hear every single. You can hear
shouting into my webcam. Yeah.
You can hear your heart beating in the background.
Yeah.
I'm
so yes, I was just saying, his colleague was offering to help us with some of this.
Yeah. She'll be
see if they still
loving the quality of our recording now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when they listen to it and be like, "How am I meant to make this better?" It's like, you offered.
By editing, obviously.
You've got a diamond in the rough here. Now polish it.
Yeah.
Give you some exposure. Actually, we could probably threaten them with exposure, but in the opposite way.
Yeah, well, if you don't do it, we'll tell people you know us.
I was thinking more that you help us with this, but yeah, also that second one. Yeah, I like that. We'll tell people that you know us. Yeah. That'd probably work, to be fair.
You got a score for that one?
Yeah. I think I'll go for a 3.5.
I was going to err more towards a 3, I think. Yeah.
I must admit, I quite like that one, so yeah. Mind if it's Benramac.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting it to be good.
Yeah. It wasn't bad in any way. Just I think it was.
I don't know. It's got that kind of vanilla-y sweetness that I like from like a single grain and that. So
yeah, I think that probably was. I was going to say it has that lighter kind of aspect. You like the whiskies in that.
Yeah, true.
Style.
It's one of my things. Just quick swig of water, and I'll get us into number 2.
Definitely.
We're all about health here on the WhiskAYE channel.
Got to stay hydrated. Whilst you pickle your liver.
Yeah, give your kidneys a slight chance.
It's absolutely not, because we're trying to reset our palates so that we can drink whiskies in less than 60 minutes. But...
Yeah, we're good. Keep going. Speedy. Right, so we're going from one of my co-presenters' favourite distilleries, also kind of one of mine, but to one of my favourite distilleries. And we're off to Campbelltown, to Glen Scotia. So this is another one that was mentioned on the title card. Campbelltown in a rum cask. This is Glen Scotia double cask rum cask finish. So this could be a bit different. So this is another one that's 46% straight on the nose, single malt Scotch from Campbelltown this time, and they can't really deny
that they're from Campbelltown.
Yeah.
I know we're Lowlands.
I think you'll find.
Definitely not.
Yeah, there's a border in the middle of the town.
Yeah.
You went past the harbour, did you? Yeah, that's the border. It's at the Nickel and Dime.
Yeah.
To be fair, how big that shop is, you could have probably walked to Auchintosh by the back of it.
Yeah.
Back of that shop.
Yeah. Well, you could have definitely gotten reached it with that spanner.
Yes, true. So, as may be obvious, a colleague and I went to Glen Scotia just recently with a few friends, colleagues, acquaintances.
All of the above.
Yeah, there was a mix from one end to the other. So we visited Campbelltown, and we did Islay as well. And maybe what we'll do is we'll just talk a little bit about each one after each.
Yeah, we tried to go to Arran. That was what my ferry comment was about, because the big ferry was full and the little ferry got cancelled. So
yes, so we were booked in for lunch and the tasting and everything, and we were at the jetty, and then we got told it was cancelled because it was too windy, which is fair enough. You don't want them to.
I'd rather them not try and sink themselves with us on board, but
yeah, still a shame. But in terms of the Campbelltown element. We were in Campbelltown for 2 nights. We did Glen Scotia, a tasting at Glen Scotia, with just the three of us, the more dedicated group, and then 2 more who were a bit more focused on things like career.
Family.
Turned up a bit later to join us at Springbank and Kilkerran, which, if you know anything about either of those, you'll know they're literally on each other's doorstep. And we did a tour of the Springbank, and then we did a tour of the Kilkerran.
It literally shared a gift shop. So
yes, yeah. Well, Kilkerran was founded by the brother of the Springbank one because he was upset, wasn't
he? Yeah.
So, very interesting to kind of do one tour and then do one that's like a comparison one. And then Glen Scotia was a very nice tasting, very friendly member staff there to kind of guide us through them. Very knowledgeable. Campbelltown local, I think she said.
Yeah.
Travelled away a little bit and then had come back home.
Yeah, as tends to happen with us Scots,
Yeah, it happens with a few, I think. I mean, to be fair, if I had my hometown had 3 distilleries in it, 4, maybe wrong, I'd probably come back as well. But yeah, Campbelltown is it's just a little town. It's nothing amazing, but it's nothing bad neither. It's nice. We had a nice dinner at the which hotel was it again? I can't remember.
Me neither. Well,
but there's a hotel in Campbelltown that's got like a 700 whiskey bar. So if that's the one you find, that's it.
If you'd like to use a search engine, you'll find it.
Yes. And we stayed at the Argyle Arms, which was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong. Nice little bar in there. We had a couple of pints at.
Yeah.
And it was a good little base. Rained a bit, but not too bad. Good place.
Learned an interesting fact about Kilkerran as well. The actual distillery is called Glengyle, but they're not allowed to call the whiskey Glengyle because someone bought the name Glengyle and wouldn't sell it to them when they reopened the distillery.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I should probably introduce us to the whiskey. But what we'll do is maybe we'll talk about a couple of the things we did in Islay after some of these others.
I think it was the Arch Hill Hotel.
Yes, I think it was.
Just so that we can.
Very nice whiskey bar.
Yeah.
Some very good whiskies in there. It's always reassuring when we get to whiskey bars and we're like, I've had a good percentage of these now.
Yeah.
Reassuring / concerning, maybe.
Possibly more reassuring to walk into one and then be like, oh, here's a whole bunch of whiskies you've never had. Because then we'd be like, oh, good. We've not running out.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're running out, but I think it's slightly concerning how many we have actually had. When you go to a whiskey bar and you're like, yeah, I could probably take half of these away.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is as I said, the Glen Scotia double cask rum cask finish. So it says Glen Scotia's original double cask matured using bourbon and sherry casks. It's one of our oldest, most favourite go-to drams. Me here, I am with you there, Chris, on that one. It is a lovely bottle of whiskey, and it won. Glen Scotia won a gold medal for best Scotch, and unfortunately that meant all their prices went up, as did the double cask. It's a shame. It's worth the new price, but it was better at the old price. This new release substitutes the sherry casks for a finish in Guyanese Demerara rum barrels, bringing lashes, tasty cooked sugar, molasses, and tropical fruit notes. Very yummy. So the nose, cooked sugar, maritime sea spray, and tropical fruits.
Definitely getting the cooked sugar. It smells a lot like molasses.
Yeah.
Or
I
like
love that
WhiskAYE even.
Yeah, I love that nose. That's how you can usually tell like a Glen Scotia for me, is that like caramelized sugar, cooked sugar.
Yeah, but then in this it'll be even more sugary because of the rum.
Exactly, yeah. Because that is, well, rum is literally like distilled sugar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sugar spirit.
Yeah. Do you want to dive into one?
Definitely.
So the palate, it's like you, Melbourne, rich and exotic. Sweet notes of cooked sugar and molasses are balanced by tropical fruit notes of coconut, banana, and sweet peach. The finish, warming spice and maritime notes linger.
It does have, like, the fruitiness is a weird fruitiness that is probably better described by things like coconut, rather than like a sharp or like.
Yeah, it's like a flat.
Yeah.
There's loads of that cooked sugar on there. That's lovely. It does have that brininess at the end.
Oh yeah, the Campbelltown saltiness is clear as day in that.
If you don't particularly like
don't dislike it, but it's not like my dream finish, but it's not a bad one, just
I don't know if it's my dream finish, but it's up there. I do really like it.
It's better.
Campbelltown. What did you call it? Campbelltown?
Brininess, probably.
Brininess.
But yeah, when you're first about to sip it, as you're bringing it to your mouth, I can taste the saltiness coming off of the vapor. You know what I mean? I like the salted caramel kind of flavors.
Well, I think that's what the trick is, isn't it? They get the salted caramel because they do the cooked sugariness, and then it just goes like the brininess makes it that salted caramel. Yeah, it is very like if you had a couple of Campbelltowns, you'd be able to identify this as a Campbelltown. I think it's very.
Well, you would
typically
definitely guess that way.
Yeah, which is nice because I that's what I like. But
I think this is bourbon into a rum cask.
Yeah, I would suggest. I don't get any
substitutes the sherry for rum. Yeah,
like I say, I don't get any sherry, and I think the cooked sugar notes come from the bourbon casks. I do like a double cask. I had to buy another bottle of it.
That's very nice.
It is very nice. It's just got that cooked sugar, that pastry to it.
But the thing is that all the flavors combine to like almost an umami style, like because it's sweet and salt at the same time. I know it's not the same thing to be.
I know what you're saying,
but it's like that rich flavoring.
Yeah, it's like treacle kind of butteriness. Yeah, like rather than it being sugary sweet, it's like sugary salt, I guess.
Yeah,
It's nice. It is very nice indeed. Did you want to score this one?
I would like to give this one. I'm going to say 4.
Yeah, I've gone for a 4. Yeah,
but it could stretch itself higher than that. I think it's on the verge.
it is a very good whiskey.
I think if they put this one towards the end of the box, it might have a higher score because I'd be drunker and more generous.
That is how it works.
Yeah. Unless you have one particular whiskey which came at the end, and we still think we might have been overly harsh on it.
Or unless you like our plant or whatever, undercover boss.
Yeah.
Who was like, all right, I'm just going to taste a little bit of each one and then come back and taste some more of each one because I can't really drink much whiskey. And then like we get to one of the tours and they're like, oh yeah, it's a really good way of tasting them.
Yeah, lies.
Can't do oat wrong, can you? Can't be an amateur at oat. Just always got to be the best.
To be fair, it is quite a lot of whiskey for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I was feeling it at points.
Yeah.
But I still don't think. I think those were our lightest days.
Yeah, definitely.
In terms of.
But to be fair, so we might as well discuss it. We went to Islay and we did all the big smokies. Our first day we didn't. We walked to Killala,
up to Boona.
Up to Bunnahabhain, and stopped at
Ardnahoe
on the way back from Bunnahabhain, which isn't actually making it. Well, hasn't released Spirit yet, but it's.
No, well, we'll go into that on.
Yeah.
Why they've not yet, if you want.
If you want, yeah.
A bit of a. Well, I was going to say after one of these next ones, if you want.
Yeah, we can have another whiskey and then we'll come back to discuss. I feel like we can talk about but after the Jura, because Jura's just over the hop, it's close enough.
We were looking at it on the whole.
See the paps, yeah.
Yeah, we were looking at it.
Rob didn't believe me that.
That's what it meant.
Paps were the name of them, and that's what it meant.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were looking at the whole way up to Boona because you're right on the coast that walk up, aren't you? Well. That's the thing about Islay. I think every distillery is by the coast. Beaumont? Yeah, that is.
A port, pretty much.
Yeah. Killala's right on the coast. Ardnahoe's a little. I mean, it's on the coast, but it's not right on the coast like Bunnahabhain is.
No.
Lafroig, Lagavulin both are. Ardbeg, I assume, is, but we didn't.
You can see it is when you come down the hill.
Yeah, because Ardbeg's one of the ones that's got it painted on the side, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, we were in Islay and we did 6 distilleries in 2 days. A lot of walking.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair amount.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to introduce us to the next one? And like you say, after the Jura, we'll do some details.
Yep. The next one is The Gauldrons by Douglas Lang, which is a blended single malt at 46.2, which is an interesting percentage for a.
One day we'll do a podcast sponsored by Douglas Lang.
Yeah, when we're rich and famous.
Exotic.
Yeah. I thought I already was. Yeah. So the card says, "We love the remarkable regional malt series, and we've been waiting a long time to feature the newest addition to this range, this Campbelltown edition, named for the dark, stormy coves on Campbelltown's west shores, the Gauldrons, which means Bay of Storms. A fantastic example of the coastal maritime style Scotland's smallest whiskey region is famous for." Whoa. Lowlands is surely.
It's most geographically, but maybe not. I don't know actually by number of distilleries now.
Lowlands is on at least 5 now, actually.
You've got Clydeside, Kingsbarns.
If you ask me, Loch Lomond, but apparently not.
Yeah, they class as Highland.
Yeah, there's one.
Caution.
Yeah, there's one out by south east of Edinburgh. I can't remember what it's called. There's There's one.
So Oban's got one, isn't it?
Oban would be Highland. Yeah. Yeah. So
it's
I think. I'm not sure. I think that actually
Anyway.
Lowlands has overtaken it. I think there's a Strathclyde distillery opened in Glasgow as well.
Strathclyde, that's it. That's in Glasgow.
Yeah. And
yes. I just want to say, normally when you translate something to like Gaelic or whatever, it sounds more dramatic than English.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, Bay of Storms into Cauldrons is not. It's not great.
No.
Bay of Storms sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
It just to defend, my native tongue against, because I don't have any. I'm like the American in the group, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, not got any real history, but every now and again there's a bit where we're better. So when I'm talking to someone who's got like some ancient history, like a Scot or a Welshman or whatever,
you should have got like ye olde English, which actually just means the Old English, and that's how it would have been pronounced. And this turns out it's actually that they didn't have a letter for back in the day, so they just used a Y, and they put E's on the end of everything.
Aye. Anyway. So what we got on this? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. On the nose, it opens with sea air, gentle smoke, manuka honey, and a hint of dried seaweed. So
that is very, very coastal.
Mm.
I can get the sea air.
If it's got smoke in it, that
it does have a smoke in it. It does have like. I think I go with manuka honey. I don't know if I can tell you the difference between that and honey, but it's got like a sweetness to it, like sugariness.
About 500% markup.
Yeah, fair. But it does have that kind of sugariness to it, doesn't it? Like a caramelliness.
Yeah,
maybe
it does.
Like a fudge.
This is more like what I would expect from. This is closer even still to traditional Campbelltown nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that honey, caramel, salt.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, onto the palate.
Aye, Captain.
Is initially shows a maritime character, which leads to sugary shortbread, dried oak, and gristy cereals. With a finish it's distinctly spicy, bringing puffs of smoke, Madagascar vanilla, and cinnamon pancakes.
I don't want to comment on that. I want you to taste it.
Okay.
That is. I need another flavor, another go, and then I'll comment.
It is very cereally, actually. Maybe
it's like. Oh, sorry.
It's like when you get a shortbread that's the flavor's almost all butter.
Yeah.
It has that kind of when it melts straight away.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of the flavor of that kind of a shortbread.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to me because it starts off and you think it's going to be like full on the salted caramelliness, like that's the initial hit. Yeah, but that dies off really quite quick and it becomes almost like say, it's cereally and savoury and malty.
Yeah,
it's strange.
I'm still not getting any smoke out of this. I think Isla has legitimately broken my taste buds to deep.
I must admit, we went to we did
the smoky
big three. We did the big three. We did Ardbeg, Lafroig, and Lagavulin, and we did Kalila, which is generally beginner smoke, but still some smoke.
Yeah.
And Ardbeg, Lagavulin, and Lafroig are like the three different kinds of peat as well.
Mm-hmm.
Generally.
Typically,
and I don't think we had any that I would have gone, that's a peat bomb.
No. I do think that things like I do think that there's a difference between Lagavulin, like single malts, and then like Smokehead or Big Peat or Seaweed and Aeons and
the Malt Master Malt one.
Yeah.
But would you say they're the biggest peat ones, or would you say like a Talisker or whatever?
Nah, they're definitely more than Talisker, I would say. I'd say Talisker's always a hint of peat.
Mm.
Like not. It's more than I say. Taliska's like a Kailua sort of level.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, because I always thought Ardbeg was the peat monster one.
Well, yeah. Usually it has a lot. Ardbeg has the big medicinal.
Yeah.
TCP peat.
Yeah.
But,
and I thought Lafroig was known for its medicinal peat, but out of the three, I think I like the Lafroig the most, to be honest.
Lafroig's sort of heathery, I think,
Yeah,
generally, and Lagavulins like smoked meats. I think that's how it goes. We're very much not experts on on Isla whiskey,
which is why we went.
Yeah, and we still aren't experts, but
I think and I was talking to one of the other people who was there with us about this, and I think what tempers it or what changes it is the fact that you're there, and it was beautiful on that day. It was nice on the day before, but it was gorgeous on that day.
Yeah,
super sunny, clear skies, not too hot, but really nice. And you're there with your friends, some of whom you haven't seen in years.
Blisters on your feet.
Yeah, sat in quite a nice tasting area in Lafroig. Nice little.
Nice tasting area in all of them. Yeah. People have criticised. I've seen reviews that have criticised that Ardbeg courtyard. I thought it was great.
It was lovely.
I mean, obviously,
in the rain, it might not be as great.
Yeah, and they're a bit, the fact that they're serving you out of a tea, tea van or whatever. It's kind of a hipstery thing, but yeah, like there's no way they can compete.
They've got to do something different.
Yeah.
So I think and you sat there and you've had a really nice kind of day. You've had a good breakfast. It was a good breakfast as well, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, with your friends drinking whiskey. And to be honest, they could have all been like a million parts per million peat, and I'd have probably enjoyed them. Yeah,
just because the
environment and who you're drinking them with is
definitely helps.
Of whiskey, isn't it? Really, or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's a big part of it. But then if you don't enjoy the environment or whatever, it's never as good.
Similar to, so I was recently, I'm going to sound like a big jet setter and that, but recently I was in Rhodes and I was leaving a bar and the guy was like, "Oh, you've had, wait there, because we tipped it was table service and we tipped the guys," and he was like, "Oh, if you wait there, I've got something for you." And he came in and gave us what was called a Ouzo Cafe, which is like a aniseed coffee liqueur.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I like Ouzo.
Yeah, but it was a cross between an Ouzo and a coffee liqueur. And we were like, well, my partner definitely doesn't like Ouzo.
I
could take it or leave it. I don't mind it. It's good with a wee dash of water, make it go cloudy. But yeah, we were sitting there like, oh, this is like actually really good. It tastes just like a licorice coffee. Yeah. Then we bought a bottle in the airport, and when we had it when we were at home, it wasn't quite as good. It's maybe because it was, rainy, dark in Scotland rather than 20 degrees on a balcony bar in a medieval city in a Greek island.
I mean, it's like I will say that. I mean, one of the best foods I've ever had was that one at Seven Stills. That lasagna almost made me cry. It was so good. But the best meal I've ever had, that obviously that my mum didn't cook, just to specify, was when I had a mezes on like the beach in Cyprus.
Yeah. And
you just like they could just feed me, like, I hate potatoes, and you could just feed me raw potatoes at this point, and I'd have been like, this is the best meal ever.
Yeah.
She just sat like on the med, just being like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's like when you're in Greece, you're like, oh, souvlaki, this is amazing, this is the best thing ever, and you're like, this is literally just a kebab skewer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Greek food is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love like halloumi and pittas and souvlaki and chef dayar and
and all the good stuff. Yeah.
Except olives. Can't really do olives. But other than that,
lefticles, that stuff's
or a gyros. A good gyros is
yeah.
Anyway, did you want to score this one? Sorry.
Yeah, I was actually gonna give us a 3.5. I think
a 3.5 is a good shout.
It's like
not quite as good as the last.
It's weird. It's not what you expect every time. Like every time you go to drink it, you're like, oh, this is gonna, and then you're like, no, it's not. It's gonna be like that when your shortbread just dissolves in your mouth. I think the problem. I think what my brain is trying to tell me here is it's the disappointment of when the shortbread doesn't last when you try to suck it.
Yeah, maybe the palate wasn't as good as the nose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. So we're getting on to the next one, and I'll introduce this. Did you want to talk a bit more about what we did on Isla, or did you want to wait until we've had this one?
We can wait until we've had this one, and then whilst we take a wee break before we go into the last two, we could
talk about day one and
yeah.
So this is, as you've probably guessed, it's a Jura, but it's a Clondeni Jura 2009. The card reads: independent bottlings of Jura are few and far between, and offer a great opportunity to see what this distillery's spirit offers when left to speak for itself. Aged in a straightforward refill hogshead, this single cask release is a far cry from Jura's own label releases, which use some highly complex mixes of wood influence, which can somewhat disguise the original spirit character. Okay. That reminds me, by the way, you know the distillery I'm a member of, that Cooper King?
Mm-hmm.
Their full whiskey comes out this year.
Oh, that's good. We're going to try that soon.
Yeah, so you'll have to come visit.
Yeah.
And then I've got a taster, well, like a 20 centilitre of the new make, of the 16-month-old, the 24-month-old, then the whiskey, so we could do like how the barrel has influenced it.
We could even record that.
Yeah, because I think that could be quite interesting.
I think that would be very interesting. Yeah.
To see how it's gone from like the new make character to the aged character.
Definitely.
Anyway, whiskey nerdiness aside, the nose reveals a Moorish sweet brown sugar and butterscotch style. I mean, that sounds pretty like delicious.
Let me just.
That's very like oaty.
Yeah. Oh, and the back end though is butterscotchy.
There is butterscotch, but I get like it's porridge. It's butterscotch porridge.
I could see that. Yeah.
It's kind of like dry oats rather than porridge.
Actually, porridge. Yeah, not got the milkiness.
Yeah, butterscotch oats.
Porridge has got a milkiness, even if you make it with water. By the way.
Yeah.
The oat milk comes out
like some heathens.
Yeah, but literally adding water to it causes the oat milk to come out. That's why it still creams even if you use water.
Yeah, it's not just gruel. Okay, on you go, and I'll tell you what you're tasting.
Okay.
The palate reflects the nose, but with more depth. Anticipate buttered brown bread with thick, creamy honey and toasted oak. The lively finish lingers with a touch of baking spice, juicy barley, and buttercream icing. This sounds fantastic.
It is a bit bready, but more like a nuttier wholemeal than
like a
super
seed or super seed. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely got that kind of sunflower seediness to it.
Yeah, earthier.
Yeah, it's definitely a super seed low flour.
Rather than like a big malty.
It's not a brown bread. That's a best granary. But it's definitely a super seed loaf. I wasn't getting honey. I was getting more like jam. Not quite, but maybe like a sweet marmalade, maybe.
Could be. It's like it is sweet in the end. But I guess that's like a barley buttercream icing could be. I could accept that because it is creamy still.
And there is a cerealiness to it.
Yeah.
With that super seed loaf. Yeah, I can kind of see. Yeah. So cereal character.
It's also very rich.
It is. Yeah. Like I can feel it. Not in my heart, but you know what I mean, in that area where it's like when it's like when you get a sherry bomb and you're like, this is actually probably going to make me have a heart attack.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't have a heart attack on this because I can't remember your actual address. I'd have to phone the police or phone the ambulance and be like, right, so you leave the station.
I won't worry about it.
Yeah. There's a hill with a park.
I can't have a heart attack yet because I've got whiskies that I've paid money for.
Yeah, we've got at least 12 of these left to go, and then you've got a cabinet full of whiskey.
Oh.
I mean, I've got a drinks trolley full of whiskey.
Did I tell you, our colleague who lives in the same town as me, which is Newport, by the way. I feel like I dox you all the time, so I live in Newport.
You're just going to dox yourself,
yeah.
Near a hill with a park on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's Wales, the whole thing's hills and parks.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone listens to it is going to... I'd be extraordinarily unlucky if out of 34 subscribers, one of them was a serial killer stalker.
Who managed to work it out from being near the hill with a park on it.
Yeah, talent for GeoGuessr. Yeah. So the person... I don't mind doxing you because I don't like you, but the other people feel a bit bad for.
I think they haven't really picked to be on a...
Exactly. But he's been drinking quite a bit more whiskey.
All right, since we were on holiday.
Mm-hmm.
He's
been enjoying his bourbons.
It'll be not long until he jumps on this. He's like, right, I'm in.
See, when he came to visit yesterday, I was like, "Would you like a whiskey?" He was like, "Yes." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
What would you like? He's like, "Oh, I've got like a taste for the American ones at the moment, so I've got a couple of American ones."
Yeah.
So I gave him my go-to American one, which is a George Dickel 12-year-old, which is not a bourbon, it's a sour mash, but it's good stuff.
I finished my American at Christmas making old fashions. I was an Elijah
Craig.
Elijah Craig, yeah.
There's one I might buy a bottle of. The Master Malt did like a thing of what all their people, like their tasters like the most.
Eagle Trace or whatever it is.
It was Angel's Envy.
Oh.
Which is apparently a very good bourbon, so I might give it a go.
Have you ever gone the Reddit whiskey with an E? Not the whiskey with no E, because of course there's one of each.
Yep.
Everyone loves this
that Grand Old Pappy or whatever it is as well.
Eagle one. I can't remember if it's Eagle's Trace or Eagle.
Yeah, there's that Old Pappy or whatever it's called as well. It seems to be very popular.
But apparently there's like fakes of it in America.
Oh, wow.
And also, depending on if you go to a state that's known for whiskey, or like if you're near a distillery, then the price of it goes up like fourfold. Whereas if you're just at if you're like in a town 2 towns over, which isn't an area known for having distilling and stuff, it's just like,
yeah,
like it's not cheap, but it's the same as buying like, a bottle of, a high end normal spirit.
I suppose it depends what state you're in as well, because they can all tax alcohol at different rates, can't they?
Yeah. But it just gets an absolute tourist tax on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right, speaking of tourist tax and that, there's 49 distilleries in England now that have produced a whiskey, have got a whiskey laid down, or are going to produce one. We need to start visiting some.
Well, we're running out of Scottish ones to go to, so.
Well, we would do if someone didn't have like an event on next year, so we can't go up to the Speyside Whiskey Festival. Very inconsiderate.
An event.
Well, it's a minor event in someone's life.
Yeah, but it'll be it's all right. You can,
as long as you want to do it once, mind.
Yeah, that's my plan.
Yeah, I'm not coming tomorrow than one. I've got to like really gear myself up for the pre-drinking event.
Yeah.
I feel like your Scottish friends are going to kill me.
That'll be fine. I'm probably going to bring
for
them to a... Yeah, probably... Yeah, no, it won't be fine for me.
Fair, yeah. You're the man of the hour.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to probably bring it on tour down anyway, rather than do it up here. So it'll be...
You're absolutely...
closer to you.
Absolutely welcome to come down here and we'll lay something on.
I was meaning, I think I'm actually going to have my stag do in somewhere in England. But
really?
Yeah. I just think I don't want to do an abroad one.
Yeah, but aren't most of your friends up there?
Yeah, but
there's only a couple of us down here.
Yeah, but I wasn't going to say coming. Although actually, I did think Bristol was on my list, but I was thinking probably more likely Manchester or Liverpool. They tend to be the towns.
If you do Manchester or Liverpool, you do realise who will go mad, don't you?
Who?
Our London friend.
Oh yeah.
Who was born in one and grew up in the other.
I'll ask her where to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been to both. I've had a.
I've not been to either.
I'm definitely not going to Liverpool because last time I was in Liverpool, we were there for UFC, but it coincided with a Champions League final that Liverpool lost, and it was the town was on lockdown basically, and my friend dislocated his knee at 11 at night, and there was no ambulances or taxis, so we had to basically steal someone's taxi to get to the hospital. Yeah.
On happier notes.
Yeah, we were in Islay.
Yes, I was going to say we've
got
just had
to score this one. Yeah.
Let's score this one, and then let's talk about Islay a little bit. Why not?
Yeah. I actually really like this one.
Okay. What do you want to give it?
I think 4 again.
4 again?
Yeah.
Oh. I would give that one a 3.
But I really like bread, so...
I mean, let's be fair. It's like that could be like a capture test. Because all humans really like bread.
Even humans who bread will kill.
Really I once traded like a pint of prawns for some more bread. And the person who got a pint of prawns, and I love prawns, just to upset my old man because he says I always mention my mum in these and not him. But I used to get, my mum used to buy when I was in the pram. So I don't know, 15, 16 or whatever.
I was going to let you go with it and see who it shaped you.
I thought that'd be the joke, so I thought I'd get it first. But yeah, my mum used to take me down to the Mexican fish market and buy some frozen prawns, and I'd get upset that I couldn't eat them then. So I really like prawns, but I definitely won that trade because that was some good bread.
Yeah.
But yes, so we were in Islay for 2 days. 2 and a bit. Depends how you want to.
Well, I mean, were we in Islay for 2 and a bit?
We were in Campbelltown for we drove. So those of us who live in Newport, my friend who lives in Newport very kindly drove us up to Glasgow, stayed overnight. You showed us a very nice restaurant/pub. Stayed overnight. Then we drove around to try and get the Arran ferry. Failed at that. To Campbelltown. Stayed overnight in Campbelltown. Did Glen Scotia and Springbank and Kilkerran. Stayed over another night. And
woke up in
very
the middle of the night.
Yeah, 5:30 to get 7 o'clock ferry. Got a very nice ferry though.
Oh yeah, it had a chandelier. It was
well, yeah, there you go. Over to Islay, because all the ferries were busy, so we could only get the first one. And had a very nice cottage.
Yeah,
got a very good deal on the cottage. She was the person was very nice. The cottage was really
she left
quite
us
big.
She saved us for dinner because we couldn't get a takeaway, and we'd all been drinking, so we had to have the breakfast meats that she'd provided for dinner.
Sausage, bacon, eggs, like milk, tea bags, coffee. It was the most well-stocked blooming self-service I've ever seen, self-catering I've ever seen.
Yep.
And then so we stayed over that night.
But on the morning when we got there, we parked up basically, got our bearings, got our bearings straight as. Oh, I can't remember his name now. The guy who used to do eating challenges on YouTube, he always used to say, "Got to get my bearings straight," and then flash up a picture of the bearings straight.
Very cool. I'm not doing editing like that.
Yeah. But then we went for a walk because we were very close to
Kalila, like 15 minutes.
Yeah. So we went there, had a.
I've got to say, cracking lunch.
Yeah. Most of us had a platter of sorts with a increasingly larger drinks orders.
Yeah. So it started off as. Can we use people's first names? Do you think is that safe?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So Lauren got old fashioned.
Yeah.
I got just a straight 12-year-old.
Yeah.
A whiskey.
Yeah. I'm letting you do it. Yeah. We're demonetized anyway.
You got to be very careful with this stuff. I think you got a. What did you get?
No, I think it started. Someone got a cocktail and a beer after that.
No, so Lauren got a cocktail. I got the straight whiskey. Then Rob, I think, got cocktail and a pint.
Yeah, or a bottle. It was, and then I got a cocktail and a whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So left to Andy to go and
But basically, if you visit Kalila, we didn't have anything booked, but they've got a very nice bar. I imagine if you get a tasting, actually, it's really nice because they had their little tasting area, like looking out over the sea.
Yeah.
But the bar was very nice, and we had the platters for lunch, which were basically like a ploughman's, I guess. You had like balsamic pickled onions, venison and duck was the one we chose, or I chose. I think you went for the cheese and venison.
And for cheese and venison salami.
Yeah, it was very nice, I've got to say. A couple of whiskies there, I think.
Yeah.
Just also to say, Springbank had pretty good
food
as well. Pretty good restaurant.
Sure.
And then yes, we did a couple of drinks at Kalila. To be fair, again to them, we were trying to get a taxi on Isla, which is basically impossible if there's more than like 4 of you. But they tried.
Basically impossible anyway.
Yeah, but they tried for us very kindly.
Yeah.
And then told us a shortcut on the walk up to Boona,
which we managed to make it just in time, more or less.
We walked up to Boona Haven, where we did have a tasting booked. And Boona Haven is right on the coast, as is Kalila, but Boona Haven is right on the coast, and we were sat in the visitor centre bit. Nice table, big, like the whole wall was glass, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the sun was out, and there was not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah, looking out over the sea. Guy came out, gave us 4 whiskies each. 4? Yeah. Did a little spiel about each one and said, look, if you want to talk about them or you want any questions, I'm over there. But if not, I'll leave you be. It was great. He was a really cool guy.
And then after that, when we finished them, we went to me and Rob went to try and buy another whiskey, and the guy says, "Can't sell you a whiskey to drink here, but I can give you one."
Yeah.
And then proceeded to give us 2 drams of 2 whiskies to share amongst the 5 of us.
Yeah.
And one of which was very expensive.
Yeah.
To buy a miniature bottle of it, like when I say a miniature bottle, I mean
27.
50, I think.
50, right?
50 mil, like a double shot.
Yeah,
was like very close to 3 figures.
Yeah,
and he gave us 2 of them for free.
Yeah, he was,
and then said, "Try that and tell me what you think." And then when we were like, "That's all right," he was like, "Yeah, I have no idea why it costs so much and why everyone's so mad for it. Nobody could even remember the information about it. Like, he's like, it's just boring."
Yeah,
and then he gave us that one that was in that, was it Bulgarian wine or Hungarian wine?
Something like that, yeah.
And apparently the grapes begin to ferment on the vine, so it becomes super sweet.
And
he's like, yeah.
That was like peak. I think that was where, for me, that was the best bit of the trip.
Yeah.
And then we walked back to our cottage via Ardnahoe, which is a fairly new one. Which is like, if you look at Ardnahoe from the road where it's situated, it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It's just this beautiful bit of. I mean, Isla itself is gorgeous.
Yeah, but they definitely just shut their cafe because they didn't want to serve people 15 minutes before closing.
They did, but it was recovered by the woman manning the
gift shop,
visitor centre desk, who gave us some tastings and was just really nice to talk to.
Yeah.
Up for a chat. I had a bit of a chat with her, have a bit of a laugh, trying to guess
again, free
whiskeys that come from.
Yeah. We were in there to buy whiskey, and she ended up giving us it for free, basically, because we couldn't have it in the.
But it worked in her favour because we bought stuff from her.
Yeah. True.
So she was really good.
Yeah.
And a few tastings there. And the reason they don't have a whiskey yet is, one, I don't think they're 3 years old yet.
Mm-hmm.
So technically they can't, but they're also not going to release anything under 5 years old.
Yeah, they're going for a proper age. They're going for an age statement to start.
Owned by not Douglas Lang, but Hunter Lang.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Part of the Lang whiskey dynasty, apparently.
Lang clan.
Yeah.
Lang clan.
But then, so that was the first day.
That was day one.
And then we walked along to the pub later on for more walking. And that's nice.
That was why we went to the pub.
Rob
It was
definitely
hard.
definitely loved that walk, and it definitely didn't give him blisters that made him decide to drive us to.
Well, we're trying to get. So my advice would be, if you go into Isla, don't count on taxis because they won't be there, and don't count on food that delivers or that is open.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, you probably need to. You're probably better to book yourself in. So our accommodation was great, but you would probably be better off booked into somewhere in Port Ellen or Bowmore.
Yes.
And then you might be able. You might have a better chance of finding a taxi as well.
Yeah. But yes, that was day one, and then day two, as you say, Rob gave us a lift. We went to Port Ellen for his breakfast, and then we parked at Lafroig, which, if you know the Big Three, Lagavulin. If you know the Big Three, it's in the middle. And then it was a gorgeous day, absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
We walked back from Lagavulin to Lafroig, sat in their visitor centre, got a flight each. Over then, we bought obviously a driver's pack for our driving friend. Sat again, looking out over the sea, just enjoying whiskey, having a chat. Walked to Ardbeg. I don't think we gave Ardbeg much of a fair shake because we were in a bit of a rush.
We ended up in a bit of a rush,
yeah, to get back to Lagavulin because we had a tour booked, but it was still really nice.
Yes, we got a tasting. Basically, they give you go into the bar and get just it's not a takeaway tasting, but they just give you a box full of drams.
Yeah, and then we split them between us.
Yeah,
because we had to quickly walk back.
Yeah,
and then we did the tour of Lagavulin, which was a really good tour.
Yes, very
really
detailed.
Interesting. Yeah, learned a lot of stuff, even though we've done
And I was getting
dozen tours now.
Yeah, dirty looks because you're only allowed to take photos from a specific place in the still room. But I was constantly checking my phone for the football scores. But
yeah. But yeah, you might see some of the pictures in this episode and previous episodes, I think.
Yeah.
Again, just a really good, really interesting tour, and then got a takeaway.
Yeah.
The cottage had his takeaway. Broke ourselves laughing.
Yeah. Drank some whiskies that we both brought. One from Aaron, since we couldn't get to Aaron. I had my Aaronac.
Very nice. Very, very nice, Aaron. Yes. Very privileged to try that. It was very kind of you to share it.
Very nice. What was it? Single, like purely
17 years.
Yeah. 17 years in a sherry cask you brought. So that's also a very, and at Aberlour as well, which is your basically.
I think it's our basically shared favourite in it between us.
Yeah, pretty much.
17 years in the sherry cask. I couldn't resist.
I look forward to calling Aberlour friends of the podcast when
we one day. And it was quite interesting. Rob being like, I've enjoyed all these whiskies.
Yeah.
But that's like a 5. Can I have some more? I was like, yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
That is the whole point of whiskies, to share it.
Yeah, both of them. He was like, okay, so all those whiskies we had today were okay, were good. These whiskies are great.
Yeah. It's an unfair comparison because both of the whiskies were a bit more expensive, really, weren't they?
And Rob came to the thing saying, I've just realised we're going to Islay and I don't like peated whiskey. Yeah.
But
we were like, join the club.
Yeah, as someone who doesn't like peat, I would absolutely recommend going to Islay. The distilleries are all as welcoming as ever. The island itself is gorgeous. The people are really friendly. Just be prepared to have to travel yourself.
It's
a small island.
A very island life.
Yeah, it's a small island. They don't need you there. They will not go out of their way to get you a lift or to open the restaurant or to anything like that. So just accept that and you'll be fine.
Probably, if you really want to do it, just go during the festival, Fraser Isle, because it'll be much easier to get things, because I'm pretty sure that everything will just all be open during then, because the island's population probably quadruples for a week. But
absolutely worth a visit.
Definitely.
And
beautiful.
Stunning. Yeah. Really stunning scenery. Looking out over Jura from that walk up to Boona Harbour was just something else.
Oh, also, we mentioned the Paps. The Paps are the mountains of Jura. They're called the Paps of Jura, but Paps means a female. We can't say that actually now. It means
His breast, isn't it?
Breasts is the word, isn't it?
Right there.
Yeah.
Female or male, I assume.
Yeah, that's why I was saying you can't say that now.
Pectorals. It means the pectorals.
Yeah. Anyway.
And they are very nice pectorals.
Yeah.
But if you are planning on getting a ferry from Jura, from Islay to Jura, everything in Jura is on the other coast, so you'll need a car.
Yep. So you have to drive. So someone will either drive
or a bike. I suppose you could cycle it.
Cycling is the way that I would say. If you can cycle, it's probably the best plan because, I mean, it could be rainy like the morning when we came back and it was chucking it down, and those guys were cycling to get to the ferry we were going for, and they were just not happy.
It's all eminently cyclable.
Yeah.
It's, Islay is not that big, but it's certainly not all walkable.
No. Big enough to be a day's walk, which anyone who's properly cycles knows is not a day's cycle.
Yeah, you could not go from like Culleela to the Big Three in like a comfortable amount of walking.
No, certainly not if you have to get back in the same day.
Yeah, no. But we would recommend it, I think.
Yes.
I think it's your turn.
Yes, on to the fifth, the last of the main box, another 46%. We didn't mention 48% for the Clondalkin.
Oh yeah, I was very remiss. I apologise.
Which is a quite nice round number, but also it's I think it's like a limited release, so I don't know. Maybe they just landed on that by fortune.
It was a cask one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the fifth one is Provenance, Orkney's Finest. So we always enjoy the mystery of an anonymous indie bottling, but especially when we have a fighting chance of identifying where it comes from. With only 2 distilleries on the Orkney Islands, the world's famous Highland Park and the Pernod Ricard-owned Scapa, aka Orkney's other distillery, will leave you to deduce which Douglas Lang think the finest might be.
Well, if we guess one each, we've got it covered.
Yeah, I'll go for the one that I've got 100% track record so far on.
Sarah's not going to turn up and object. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
You're like me.
So, on the nose, it says shows a gristly, creamy style, initially leading to a washed up seaweed and candied lemon peel.
It is very creamy on the nose. It's also quite punchy for the strength.
Yeah, there's
quite a lot of sharpness to this one.
Yeah, I guess that's the sort of candied lemon peel. So
it's quite
sweet citrus. Oh.
Speaking of, I made a rhubarb crumble.
Oh, we've got 2 sticks of rhubarb, chunky sticks of rhubarb in the fridge to make a.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Shared it with Andy. Very nice.
Good. I'll get his feedback on it later.
In your private group chat.
Yeah. So onto the palate.
This
has a wonderful peppery warmth alongside thick salted caramel and burnt buttered toast. For finish, it brings a tinge of smoke with tinned peaches and syrup and baking spice.
That is super peppery. I'm not getting peaches. I can kind of get the buttered toast.
Burnt buttered toast, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a burnt bread to it, but that is super peppery.
Yeah, and the finish.
Yeah.
I'm not getting it at the start,
savoury.
I might get in a minute.
That is very savoury.
There is some kind of sweet in there somewhere, but the overriding flavour it's like buttermilk sweetness rather than like.
Yeah, like a panna cotta kind of sweetness rather than. I'm trying to find it, but there's a lot of pepper in this. quintessential Scapa. This.
To be honest, I'm actually thinking it could potentially be
It's not
Scapa.
Highland Park, is it?
No.
It's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Is like
I don't know if I've ever had a Scapa, but I've had Highland Park, and this does not make me think of a Highland Park.
No. That's basically why I'm like, yeah. Well, I don't know what a Scapa tastes like, but
it's like a diluted, like buttermilk sweetness.
Yeah.
Like a watery buttermilk sweetness, which sounds not great, but it's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it's got the flavour without the creaminess, is what we're.
Yeah.
Just pepper all around it.
And that's definitely the lingering flavour.
I'd argue white pepper though, not like black pepper.
Yeah. I think that's a fair distinction, actually.
Because I think generally when you say pepperiness, people will think of like cracked black pepper.
Yeah, the usual stuff you put on your cooking.
Yeah, whereas like white pepper is the stuff that you get on like the table in a chippy. But
maybe a very slight hint of smoke.
Yeah, somewhere in. That's kind of. I think that the burnt toastness gives you that sort of.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets burned off.
I imagine
spiciness.
I'm not certain, but I imagine they might actually malt their own grains in Orkney because it's a bit of a pain in the backside to get to.
That's an interesting one, actually. Springbank. Never been in the Maltons?
Oh yeah, we've been in the Maltons, but we've never been in the Maltons. It was in active use.
Active use. Yeah, Springbank malts their own. I don't know if it malts all of their own.
No. They said it was. They get like a week.
No.
They get that's
they
get. No, but they get. Yeah, they don't get. I think they
were
talking about how
local barley, but I think
that's true. Yeah, they might just
buy in barley, but I think they.
To be fair, yeah, they don't have like a massive. They're not like running like Lagavulin. You know, what was it they said they needed to do? Like it was something like they needed to run they needed to do eight full runs of like.
Yeah.
They needed to do 8 washbacks worth of distillation a week, which means that they have to work shifts or something like that. I think.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think we've ever been in an active Maltons.
No. And they're just let you pick it up. So like, it's definitely about to be sterilised, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. I was very interested. To see something. I mean, part of your smells still, but to see something new. And that was quite fun because all of us are engineers by trade.
Yeah.
All of our friends, different flavours of engineers, but still all of us engineers. So it was quite interesting watching a couple of them looking at the mills, the mech engines, looking at stuff and being like, oh, so how the rollers work like this? And talking to each other and working out. That was quite.
And being like, so how do you? When Rob was like asking the guy about.
Yeah, how do you filter?
How do you work it out if you've got? How do you filter it to get? And the guy was like, "Oh, you don't, but you actually do, but you only do it for calibrating the mill."
Yeah,
but which was something that I had to be like after the whole. I didn't want to like come in and be like, "Oh, tour guide, I'm going to undermine you here." But afterwards, I was like, "Rob, they do actually use a box that filters it out, and they weigh it to find out what the proportions of grist and flour and."
Yeah, and then they run it through at those settings, don't they?
Yeah, and then they tweak it a bit to try and get it right.
Yeah, it was interesting to see different people being into different bits and explaining. What was I explaining to Lauren? I think it's
mansplaining in that case.
Mansplaining, sorry. Yeah, I think she was asking me about how they get the peat into it, and I was like, and then obviously when we did the Lagavulin, it kind of explained it. But
they just chop it up and then chuck it in the bottle.
Yeah, you get to drink dirt. Yeah. Did you want to score that one?
Yes.
I would give that one, I think, a 3.
I'm happy with a 3, yeah.
It wasn't my favourite, but it was actually it was still different. I must admit, I approached this box and I was like, know Benramac, I know Glen Scotia, I know Jura. There's probably going to be a lot of really like normal whiskies here.
Yeah, none
And
of
I
them
should
have
have
been
had more
exactly.
faith in Chris.
Yeah. None of them have been
But-
exactly what you would expect from those distilleries.
No, I apologise, Chris. I should have had more faith in you. I doubted you. Hope you can forgive me.
Speaking of, earlier on we were trying to name lowlands.
Yep.
I believe this next one might be a lowland.
Annandale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, interestingly, I just want to check something.
Yeah.
Let me just, before I'm making an idiot of myself. Yeah. So this is the Man O Sword. So last box we had as our 6th dram a Man O Words.
Oh.
Vintage 2015, which is from Annandale.
Oh, and this is Man O Sword, which is
Man O
an
Sword 2015.
anagram of
Yeah.
words.
Whoa,
cool.
jeez. I'm assuming it's not this one. I was just looking up. So Man O Words 2015 is £126. Yeah. Man O Sword, and I can only guess. Sorry, I'm just reading it. This is the first ever batch of Man O Sword. £3,200.
What?
Mm-hmm. So that's the first ever bottle of this.
So this one might not be that exactly.
This is not the first cask, I doubt, but still, it should taste very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, here you go. Man O Sword 2015 bourbon cask. Annandale's founders had a panel of sensory experts determine a peated spirit style that would be unique to them. They landed on a moderate level of peat, combined with distinctly sweet and fruit estuary notes. Here we enjoy the most authentic possible expression of their carefully designed spirit character. A single bourbon cask bottling at a whopping cask strength. Wowzers. So this is the Man O Sword. I'll read the label. Vintage 2015 cask 465, ex-bourbon cask matured from Annandale Distillery, single malt Scotch whisky, 58.3%.
So Annandale, I would say, is technically Borders, but we'd say that's lowland.
Yeah, I think it's fair to call it lowland. So, in all fairness, this cask, this isn't even, so this £3,200 is cask 40. So it must be from, they must have made a bunch of casks. Very first batch of Man O Sword, 45 ppm. He filled the first cask in 2014, broached in 2017. 99 bottles were drawn from this historic cask. This is that very cask. So we're a year behind. So we're a year behind a £3,200 bottle of whiskey.
Well, even the 2015s are in the hundreds. So
I mean, if there's anything you learn from our podcast, it's that you should probably subscribe to the Dram Team.
yeah, because you'll get a every other month now. Sucks to be you. You missed out on monthly. Every other month you'll get a half dram of something that you will never ever get a chance to drink again.
Yeah, unless you've got quite a lot of like expendable income. These are not whiskies you'd buy a bottle of on the off chance.
Or even likely a dram of.
Yeah. Yeah, because you won't go to a whiskey bar and find this.
And if you do, it'll be 40 quid a gram. So
yeah,
nobody's buying that.
Like, no, I'm gonna go for the like £7 drams. Cheers.
Yeah, I'll get a couple of £10 ones and call myself
Yeah, I know my whiskies. Yeah. So on this Man O Sword 2015 bourbon cask, you should get on the nose. An initial burst of fresh green Granny Smith apple opens up to hints of fresh tropical fruits, caramel, vanilla, and gentle peat smoke.
So I would say there's an initial burst of gentle peat smoke, but if you inhale deeply, you get the appliness first.
There is an appliness to it, but there's
if
also like a medicinal quality to it, not the peat.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But, you know, I mean, like if you approach this nose in gently, the peat comes in first. But if you breathe in, then the apple comes in front of it. But then it does burn you out, and you need to take a minute.
Yeah, I keep burning myself out on this one. I mean, it's 58%, so kind of understandable.
But there's a lot of fruitiness in there. I mean, it's
there's a lot of peat in there as well.
It's a bourbon finish, so you usually get those appley, fruity scents.
Are you ready to try it?
Yeah.
Okay. Lingering hints of smoky caramel, tropical fruits such as melon and mango, fresh Granny Smith apple, oak shavings, and there is no finish on this card.
The finish is caramelly.
There's definitely oakiness to it. Maybe, I don't know, oak. Like a darker wood. Or like a... I mean, I'm going to say something stupid, but like a stained oak, like a...
I get what you mean.
Creosote oak. Obviously, it doesn't taste like creosote, but it's got a dark woodiness flavour to it.
Yeah, it's not like...
It's not like a light oak, that. It's not like a white oak.
Oh, I mean, not that you should know what this tastes like, but I feel like a lot of people know what this tastes like because you're bitten into something that's made of pine because it's soft.
Yeah.
And that you can, you know, like, so
you can picture the flavour.
In your head, you have an idea of what lighter woods taste like and what oak tastes like, so you can get an idea of how that line you can extrapolate.
Exactly. So this is not a light wood flavour. This is a dark wood flavour.
But yeah, it's quite smoky up front, and then it kind of weirdly, for a peaty expression, and again, fairly sure that my taste buds are literally broken. But it's got like a smoked meats flavour that goes into like a caramel, almost like you've had a honey basting on a like slow cooked barbecue.
I was thinking like a honey basted, like smoked ham or whatever.
Yeah. Like a slow roasted.
Making me hungry now.
I know. I'm in about 400 calories of deficit today, so not on purpose. Like my meals just ended up small, so
always bulking.
I had fish for dinner, so that always like kills your cows.
Chicken thighs, so no.
The least lean option of a lean meat. It's nice.
Yeah, it was
also the best.
It was good stuff though. It was chicken thighs with asparagus, sweet potato, broccoli, and rosemary, and then it's not like a sauce. It's like a dry rub almost. It's like oil and salt, pepper, and some other stuff. It was nice.
Well, yeah, it was a pasta with like a cheese and a crumb over the top, like a.
Oh, nice. Is that one of your
panko? Yeah, it was
HelloFresh.
Yeah, it was a HelloFresh. So it was a panko and
panko breadcrumbs are nice.
Panko, but with like grated parmesan fruit and into the breadcrumb. So that was good.
Always.
And honey mustard carrots and like oven roasted potato cubes.
That sounds very good, to be fair.
Yeah, but like basically no calories. So
I've got to say that chicken thighs one was pretty good.
Yeah,
I like broccoli done in the oven. It's like
yeah,
crispy. It's nice.
I quite like to do like a steamed broccoli, but in like you wrap it in tin foil and with a bit of water.
I mean, I like broccoli in all forms, to be honest.
It's pretty good, yeah. Like tender stem as well. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this is purple sprouting.
Oh, the better tender stem.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, not scoring a whiskey and talking about broccoli. Lost any.
It's a lifestyle podcast.
It's a good job that our market definitely isn't the youth because they're like fucking broccoli. Are you kidding me on?
When you get to our age, you'll understand.
Yeah.
You have to cook your own meals, and you're like, I just can't keep eating southern fried chicken and wedges or pasta in my case because I don't like potato over and over and over. You'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to score that one?
I'd like to give that a 4. I think. It was smoky, but it was smoky in a way that tasted like a.
I'm going to go 3.5. But I'm really not sure.
What's happened to your taste buds?
I can see that being a 4 one day and a 3 the other.
Yeah. For me, it came out like a honey roast.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And I really like that.
I mean, yeah, I like your honey roast. Why don't more distilleries do like a hot roast pork sandwich with like applesauce and stuff in? Can you imagine?
I think if you had like if you have a peated whiskey and you serve that with like a good bread roll, like I'm talking like superseded or
like a sourdough.
Yeah, a good sourdough with like burnt butter.
Yeah.
And like a good like roasted ham with cloves in it.
Yeah.
Honey roast with cloves.
Yeah, you should serve it with
what?
Christangle orange.
Oh, Christangle orange on the side.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance that you could make a whiskey that tastes like the sandwich, and people would be like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm trying to read it."
I must admit, my favourite whiskey tastings have always been the ones where we've paired them with something. Like that Clydeside one with the chocolates is like. But I just really like food, I guess. But just it's peak. Like I'd do a whiskey tasting if they paired it with donuts.
Yeah, that'd be very good.
That would be good. If you're listening to us, distilleries.
Yeah. I mean, Clydeside, you've got a partnership with Tantrum. Crack on.
Yeah, just I pay quite a lot of money, more than the individual whiskies and donuts are worth.
When you come to visit me, either when we're going to get the train or if you come through the day before on the train, we can go to Tantrum in town. I know where it is. So. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so that was actually like. It started off really well in terms of timings. We're way over. And then
massively ran over, yeah.
Massively ran over, but that's typical. And we had a lot to talk about with our Isla trip, so
yeah,
tough, basically. Our editor will eventually bring these down. She has told us.
Yeah, we'll get a producer at some point as well. That'll keep us.
Yeah, she's going to bring them right down, and we're going to be like dabbing and all sorts of like cool things, and getting millions of subscribers. So. You best kind of join us now while you can before it becomes common.
Yeah, before you need to get in. I mean, if you're listening to this, you're already here. But tell your friends that they need to get in before it becomes cliche to be a WhiskAYE member.
Yeah, exactly.
Subscriber.
Exactly. But as always, thank you for listening, and we shall see you next time.
Yep. Thank you.
See you
Bye.
Later.